Okay then gang, so throughout this course we've been using a lot of modern JavaScript features, things like const and let, arrow functions, promises, classes, etc. And that is all good, but remember when I said at the very start of the course that I recommend using a modern browser like Google Chrome? That is because it supports a lot of modern JavaScript features. Now, if you were to use something like Internet Explorer 11 or even Microsoft Edge, then probably at some point you would face problems with modern JavaScript code. And that is one of the biggest challenges we face when using modern JavaScript, browser support. Because when new features are first added to the JavaScript specification, they are not all supported straight away by all browsers. It takes time for them to adopt the new features and fully support them. And older browsers like Internet Explorer 11, which isn't even maintained anymore, will never support them. So this is obviously a problem because you can't predict which browser your website users will be using, and you probably want to make sure that the code that you write works in any browser whatsoever. So if we head on over to the MDN website here and go to a modern feature like classes, if we scroll to the bottom of that page, then we're going to see a support table. And this support table is going to tell us which browsers support this feature, classes in this case. And you can see that in this case, pretty much every browser supports it except Internet Explorer. And that means if you were to write classes into your application and someone visits your website using Internet Explorer, then that code is not going to work in their browser and it might break the application. It probably will do. So we need a way to combat this. Now, let me just quickly do another example for another feature. If we scroll up and go to the contents on the left over here, if we just go into MISC and then pick something like template literals, if we scroll down, because this is a modern feature as well, by the way, if we scroll right down to that support table, we can see again Internet Explorer doesn't support it at all, and we only get partial support in things like Edge, Safari, Edge Mobile, Safari on iOS, etc. So all of the features aren't supported. So we do need to be mindful when we're coding with these modern features that not every browser may support them. So what's the solution then? Do we just not use them until all browsers support them? Well, no, because that's probably going to take a long time, and in some cases older browsers are never going to support them like Internet Explorer. Instead, what we can do is turn our head to a tool called Babel, whose tagline pretty much says it all: use next generation JavaScript today. So in this chapter, we're going to be looking at Babel in depth and adding it into our workflow so that we don't have to worry about browser support for any of the modern features that we use. That is going to take care of this for us. And we're also going to be taking a look at another tool called Webpack, which is going to help us to run tasks and use JavaScript modules. And they're going to be a massive help to us when we're creating larger JavaScript-driven applications to structure our code into different files and modules. So all that and more is coming up in this chapter.